Welcome back. Today I'm going to do something just a little bit different, and this is mostly just for fun. There will be a link to this website in the description of the video. I saw somebody else do this on their YouTube channel, and I thought it would be fun to see which master I am most like. It says, which kind of chess player are you? Answer 20 questions and you'll find this stuff out. So I'm going to take the quiz. Which side would you rather play in the following position with black to move? I can choose white or black, but there needs to be another option here. C, not smart enough to know the difference. Yeah, that's definitely what the option needs to be for me. If it's black's turn, let's see. Oh, my picture's blocking part of that. Can I move this over a little bit? Will that help? Nice. Black's pawns have been pushed over here. Black can't castle to the king side either because this rook down here. I was trying to draw arrows, but it wasn't working because that's not a chessboard. It's just an image. If black castles to the king side, they'll lose that bishop, looks like. Yeah, I'm going to go with not smart enough to know the difference. I'm going to say white. I have no idea. When you play in tournaments, do you usually... I don't play in tournaments. So again, there needs to be a C here. I haven't played in a tournament, not an actual tournament. I take that back. I did play in one quote-unquote chess tournament when I was in college. This was in the 90s. Yeah, a long time ago. But it wasn't a rated tournament. It wasn't put on by an affiliated chess club. It was just some people that met together in the student union and played chess. But I think that's the only chess tournament I've ever played in. Do you usually score with consistent results, or do you often perform on the extremes, either really well or really poorly? Well, I performed really well in that one. There was one player that I was pretty sure was better than me, but messed up in the other side of the bracket, so I didn't have to face that person. But I still didn't win the thing. But anyway, I'm going to say either really well or really poorly, or consistently poorly. Again, I need a C because I don't play in tournaments. I'm going to do extremes. Which best describes how you think about this position in the Sveshnikov Sicilian? Okay, the two options, I'm just going to look at the options before I look at the position so I know what I'm looking for. Black has given up a critically important square, d5. Okay, I do see that. Black has lots of potential counterplay with the bishop pair and the f5 pawn break. Well, the f5 could get rid of that pawn, couldn't it? I guess. And white hasn't castled yet. I'm just going to say black has lots of potential counterplay, but I have no idea. Which statement is closer to the truth? I bring my best game when facing opponents I dislike, or I don't really notice my opponent. Again, neither of those are true for me. I would say C, I do notice my opponent, but if it's an opponent I dislike, I don't bring my best game. I tend to stumble and focus, I guess, on what I dislike about them. So these questions don't apply to me either. It might be a bad idea to make this video since I can't answer most of these questions because the options aren't correct. Obviously, I do notice my opponent. Neither one of those is true for me, so which one do I click? Since I played most of my games online, I'll say I don't really notice my opponent. Black has just played g5. I see that. Your first instinct is to take on g5, retreat to g3. This one I can't answer. I don't know what's the best move in the position, but I do know that my instinct is to retreat, so I'm going to say that. Do I play gambits? I have played gambits, so I will say yes. How would you think about whether or not to take on g5 as white? Oh, is this the same position that we just had? How would you think about whether or not to take on g5 as white? I would evaluate the placement of the pieces to decide if the attack seemed promising. I would calculate several variations to decide if white's attack is strong enough. Well, I need a C option. I don't know the difference between A and B. They seem like the same thing to me. Well, that's how you know I'm not very good at chess, and that explains why my rating is on chess.com is as low as it is. Speaking of chess.com, I just noticed their logo down here on the bottom. Is this site run by them? Oh, it says it's copyright by chess.com. Well, I should put this logo on here then. Yeah, they say in their terms of services, if you stream using chess.com properties, you're supposed to have that logo. I didn't know this site was affiliated with them until I just now saw that. So hopefully I won't get dinged for not having the logo up there. I'm going to say A because, again, I don't know the difference between those two answers. Under serious time pressure, are you more likely to miss a tactic? Move pieces aimlessly? Yes. I need a C, all of the above, but I guess I'll pick A because that happens a lot to me. But I also do B a lot. Usually it's doing B that results in A. Okay, I'll say A then. Which of these ideas do you prefer for white? Oh, wow. White should trade bishops. Okay, I see the dark squared bishops are there. And put a strong knight on d4. I don't know how strong the knight on d4 would be. It would be blocking my own pawn, which will prevent any counterplay from black. Doubling rooks on the c-file by defending c2. Oh, the knight would defend c2. Okay. But I could defend c2 other ways. Okay, I don't know. White should push d4, temporarily misplacing black's dark squared bishop. Well, it would also misplace my own dark squared bishop, wouldn't it, if I put the pawn on d4? And then start an attack on the king side with f5. Well, I would probably push d4, but I don't think I would start a kingside attack with d5. I would find some other way to lose, but I'll say b because I would push d4 probably. You start the game out. That feels very odd to me. Let's just say you start the game with one d4. Would you rather your opponent play d5 or f5? Oh, definitely d5. Yes. I have an answer for this one. I do not like it at all when they play f5. That's the Dutch, right? I don't like that. You have been ahead a pawn for most of the game, but after tough resistance from your opponent, you have only 5 minutes left in this position. Should you play on or offer your opponent a draw? I don't know. I would play on. I usually don't offer draws. The only times that recently, in the last year or so, that I have offered a draw is when my opponent offered a draw, but I didn't see it in time and made a move. And then I realized, oh, they want a draw and it does look drawn, so I'll offer the draw to let them know I saw your draw offer, but I missed it. That kind of thing. But I tend to not offer the draw. I would keep playing. And I certainly won't offer the draw if they're rated far ahead of me. I'll wait for them to do it. Which statement comes closest to your feelings? A, it's always a joy to be paired with someone you've crushed in the past. Or B, the odds of winning are slightly higher against opponents one has previously beaten. Again, neither of those. I would say C. I would say the odds of winning are slightly higher against opponents that are rated lower than me, because otherwise their rating wouldn't be that low. But if I just beat them and then they offer me a rematch, that means they probably figured out what they did wrong and they want to beat me or something. And no, it's not a joy to play on with somebody that I know I easily won and then I might do it again. That seems mean. I guess I'll go with B. With plenty of time on your clock, what would you do in this position? But it didn't say which color I'm playing with, but I guess we'll assume white since they didn't mention it. I would not trade for that bishop, I think, because with all the pawns on the board, I think my knight might be stronger than the bishop. At least that's what I've been told, but where can I put it? I don't have a lot of options. I guess I could put it back here on a4 and then rotate it down to c3 to avoid trading the knight for the bishop. And then from there, where's the knight gonna go? Oh, from there, I guess the knight could go back to b5 and threaten both of those a and c pawns down there. Otherwise, I have no idea. Let's see, trade on e6. Oh, that was one of the options. I probably wouldn't do that. Yeah, invest some serious time calculating whether knight captures c6, e6 achieves anything concrete. Oh, I didn't know. I should have read the answers before I looked at the position. Okay, I was looking for the wrong thing. Yeah, I already said I wouldn't trade on e6, probably. I think the knight might turn out to be more valuable than the bishop. Okay, so let's say B. What do you think of the famous saying chess is 99% tactics? I disagree. I will just explain my answer that I know it's a lot of tactics, especially at my level. I know that most of us haven't put any in-depth study into openings. Even if we say I've practiced the Caro-Kann defense or something, we usually know 4 or 5 moves if the opponent responds in specific ways. But if I play the Scandinavian and then my opponent plays h4, I haven't studied that. I don't know if I'm supposed to take their e-pawn or do something about h4. And so then it devolves into tactics. I do know that. But I know that I've lost a lot of games from not knowing the correct response to move 3 or 4 when my opponent plays a surprise gambit or something like that. Also, I would say like endgame practice, endgame skills, it's a lot of that too at my level. So I would say it's more like 70% tactics. But yeah, I disagree with the 99%. If it was just that, you wouldn't even have to move e4 or d4 to start the game because you don't have to control the center. It's all tactics, right? Okay. How do you feel about this wild gambit line for black? And it's white's turn. What wild gambit line? Oh, they gave up the rook, looks like, but the queen is hanging. Well, I assume they're going to move the queen? Let's see. No way. Wait, sorry. Which color am I? It says it's white's turn, but which am I black? Am I playing with the black? I know I'm personally not black, but am I playing with the black pieces? I guess when it says for black, that means I'm looking at it from black's perspective. Okay. I don't like it. No way am I trying to lose, or I like my chances and this will definitely mess with my opponent. Well, it might mess with my opponent. And if I have looked into this particular line, then I would probably like my chances. But not knowing what this line is about, I see black has slightly more control over the center. Black has a tempo on this queen, but things are about to get pretty dicey. I mean, the queen can just sidestep by 1. And then what's black's next move? I would say I'm trying to lose here, it looks like, if I'm playing with the black pieces. After losing a game, have you ever broken something or yelled out loud? No. No, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I just usually hang my head or lean back in my chair. I do feel the frustration, but I'm not a type of person to act out in anger. I think that's something you should grow out of before puberty. If you haven't, ask for help. Anger and violence are a big problem in a lot of societies and cultures and in households. You don't want to be one of the people making that worse, right? I don't. Anyway, no, I haven't. White to play and castle. Oh, it's asking me which side I would like to castle to. I almost always castle king side. When I was first learning how to play chess and when I first got back into chess, I kind of just did it randomly, back and forth, but I almost always castle king side now. Trying to remember if I've castled queen. I think I might have castled queen side once in the last 3 weeks. But I mean, I don't know. In this position, it looks like my opponent, they're not really pinning that knight, so I don't know what they're doing. The knight's protected by the other knight. Also, if they take it, I could probably take with the g-pawn and put my rook right in front of their king, so I'll say queenside, which is closer to the truth. I get excited or nervous before a game. I think so. B, I don't worry about prizes, money, titles, or honors while playing. I just play my game. Well, that's also true. Well, this quiz would have been a lot more accurate and fun if there had been a lot of C's, all of the aboves or none of the aboves. In this case, it's both. I get excited or nervous, sometimes both, before a game, especially when I'm on video. I'm extra nervous on video because you might see this. You might hear what I'm saying right now, and what if I said something stupid, like elephant? That's not stupid necessarily, but it's out of context and it just popped out. Now I'm a little embarrassed that I said that out loud. I don't know why I'm embarrassed about elephant. They're very awesome animals. Now I'm a little embarrassed and nervous that I even went on for 30 seconds about that word. So yeah, it's C, all of the above. So I'll say A because I have to pick one. How would you come up with a plan in this position as white? How would I come up with a plan? If I knew that, I would win a lot more games. Let's see. The options are consider the strengths and weaknesses of black's position. Oh, that's a good idea. And decide where my pieces feel best. I'm not one to focus on feelings that much. I do sometimes. You can't help it if you're having feelings to consider them. I feel like I'm lost, that kind of thing. Or I would calculate some line for white to see how strong various possibilities are. In a classical long time control, B is definitely what I would do. But I also feel like that involves considering the strengths and weaknesses of black's positions and deciding where my pieces not feel. But what happened? What happened? No, can I go back? No, I can't. I just tried to select a word and it went to the next question. Well, you see how making these videos would be so much better if these websites worked. All right. Which is harder for you to do? Identify my advantages and building a plan? Or trade a good position for a strong, which is harder? Oh, the A. A is harder for me. Building a plan. I just mentioned that, didn't I? It's not hard to trade a good position for a strong attack. I don't even know what that means, but I know how to trade down and force my opponent into where I want them to go. But I don't know how to build a plan, and you have to build a plan before you can do that. If you were going to do B, then that means you already have a plan. Okay, A is harder for me. Okay. Well, as we saw on many of these questions, at least half, I would say, neither of the answers was correct for me, or sometimes both of them were correct for me. This website says my chess personality is a technician. Oh, I prefer attacking to positional. Interesting. I would have said the opposite to that, and is more solid than aggressive? Wait, doesn't that contradict the first one? I would have thought this second bar here would contradict the first one. Because I definitely feel like this is true, that I lean trying to be more solid than trying to be aggressive. But the first one says that I lean toward attacking rather than positional. Okay. And this says intuitive versus calculating, which I think is the opposite of the way I feel. I try not to go on intuition. I try to calculate. It's just I'm not very good at it. And emotional versus calm, yeah, that's probably true. Even when I'm losing, I tend to just realize that I'm probably losing, and there's no reason to get emotional about it other than you can feel the emotions. And I think that's where a lot of confusion comes in when we talk about emotions versus emotionless. You can feel the emotions without acting on them. And that's what I'm trying to teach my young children. When one of my children gets angry and they want to hit somebody, I won't say which one it is, but you can guess. You can be angry and not hit somebody. It's that easy. You can be angry and not shout or call somebody a name or say something hurtful. It takes practice for a child. It shouldn't take that much practice for an adult, but yeah, I know I get emotional, but being calm refers to behavior. To me, my behavior stays calm. My emotions still might be flopping all around. You just, you don't have to act out on it because you're a grown-up. Okay. Technicians are the quietest and calmest chess players, strategists who rarely attack directly and prefer to quietly exploit positional advantages. Okay. I don't know that much about Vladimir Kramnik. I think I did look through one of his games. I think it was Kramnik, but I could be wrong. I'm bad with names. He's a little younger than me. Okay, it wasn't Kramnik then, because I think the game I was analyzing was from when I was very young. And this guy's younger than me, so it couldn't have been the Kramnik game that I was analyzing. Okay. The 14th world champion, the ultimate technician, known for his great in-game skills, excellent opening knowledge. He defeated Garry Kasparov for world championship. Okay, well, that was interesting. I don't know what else you can do on this site, but if any of you have made it this far or heard some of the things I said earlier in the video, I would recommend like a little bit of updating to this site if it wanted to be more accurate, because I had so much trouble answering some of those. What do these things do? Oh, okay, there are other possibilities. One is romantic, little pop-up. Oh, you can't see the pop-up? And this one pops up surgeon. The snake pops up anaconda. I don't know what kind of chess personality that is. An assassin. Well, we found out I'm like Vladimir Kramnik. All right. Thank you for spending your time here. I'll put a link to this website in the description, and I'll see you next time.